Hello and welcome to my fourth book critique. My featured text is called Uptown and is filled with colorful artistic photos. It describes the different characteristics of Uptown New York, including the Metro North train, shopping on 125th Street, the Apollo Theater, barbershops, basketball, and jazz. Each part makes Harlem special and makes it home to a young boy. I chose this book because it beautifully captures African American culture in Harlem, and I think including different cultures and races into the classroom is very important. I also liked how it features real destinations in Harlem. The first lesson that I created for this book is a 5th grade language arts lesson, and students will learn what figurative language is and how to use it. The teacher will explain to students what figurative language is, including similes, metaphors, and idioms. Students will then read the book in pairs first out loud and then again quietly to themselves. Teachers will ask the students to identify any figurative language used in the book and to write down the examples. Students will share their examples with the class and explain what they think the author was trying to say. Students will then use Storybird to write their own story about their hometown and should include at least 3 uses of figurative language. Students will be put in groups and will explain to their group one use of figurative language in their story, and they should be able to correctly identify which type it is, and the teacher should observe to ensure that students are grasping the concepts. And the nice thing about Storybird is that other students can see what other students have written and read their stories as well. Here's an example of a book that I wrote, a little story that I wrote. I only wrote 3 pages. But I use figurative language on each page, and Storybird allows you to choose photos from their gallery, which is nice. The second lesson that I made for this book is a 3rd grade social studies lesson, and in this lesson students are going to learn about different cultures. And first the teacher will read the book and discuss with the students the culture displayed in the book, and then the teacher will ask what the students think diversity means. The students will then discuss in groups with each other what they think diversity is, and they should describe to each other the diversity in their hometown. Teachers will then ask the students what other types of cultures they know and whether a small city is more likely to have more diversity or if a large city is. Students can then pick a culture to research and they will create a poster about it. Students should include information such as cultural foods, beliefs, music, fashion, norms, pretty much anything that they think is important. And then the students can decorate their posters however they want, but they should include pictures. So then when the posters are finished, they'll be displayed around the classroom, and the teacher can just pick a day to kind of celebrate the posters and show them off to all the other students. And the students can bring in a food if they want that's specific to their chosen culture to share with their classmates. So the students can just kind of walk around and look at each other's posters and explain to each other about their culture that they chose. The next book that I read is Where the Wild Things Are, and this story is very popular and is about a boy named Max who likes to wear his wolf costume. But one night he is sent to bed without dinner because he is acting very wildly. That night, he imagines that a forest grows in his bedroom with a river and a boat. He sails for what he feels is a very long time to the place where the wild things are. When he arrives, they act very wildly, and he tells them to be calm, and they listen to him, and they make him their king. After a wild rumpus, Max sends the wild things to bed without supper, but then he becomes lonely and begins to think of all the things he would like to eat. So he decides to sail back home, even though the wild things beg him to stay. And when he arrives home, his dinner's waiting for him, hot and ready. I like this book because it has several pages of just pictures, which really help tell the story, and they will also spark children's imagination. Next is The Rainbow Fish, and in this story there is a fish in the ocean with beautiful blue, green, and purple scales. But the most beautiful of all are his sparkly silver scales. All the other fish admired him and called him the rainbow fish, but one day a little fish asks if he can have one of his silver scales. The rainbow fish is horrified at the thought of losing one, and he refuses. When the other fish hear of this, they do not want to be friends with the rainbow fish, and everyone ignores him. So the rainbow fish seeks the advice of a wise octopus who tells him that if he wants to be happy, he should share his sparkly silver scales with all the other fish. At first, the rainbow fish does not want to, but then he begins to give them out, and he becomes more and more happy until he only has one left. And then the other fish invite him to play with them, and he finally feels truly happy and at home. The message in this book is really great for kids because it teaches them that when they are kind, they will be included and they'll be happy. The fourth book I read is Tiki Tiki Tembo, and this book is set in China. A mother has two sons. The first she names Tiki Tiki Tembo No Saw Rembo Cherry Berry Ruchapip Perry Pembo. And it was the custom to give their firstborn a very long name. And then in contrast, she names her second son Chang. The boy's mother often warned them not to play around a nearby well. However, the boys did not heed her warnings, and one day Chang falls in. Tiki Tiki Tembo ran to his mother for help, and she ordered him to go to the old man with the ladder. The old man helped Chang out of the well and pumped all the water out of him, and then months later the two boys played by the well again. This time Tiki Tiki Tembo fell into the well, and Chang ran to his mother for help. When he tried to tell her what happened, she could not hear him over the sound of the river, and he had to repeat Tiki Tiki Tembo's long name several times. When she finally heard him, she again sent him to the old man with the ladder. He too took some time to understand what had happened, but eventually he helped Tiki Tiki Tembo out of the well and pumped all the water out of him. However, Tiki Tiki Tembo was very sick for some time because it had taken so much longer for him to get out of the well because of his long name. Finally is a book that was originally written in French called Shadow. This poem just describes shadow in an African tribe, and it mentions what shadows are like during the daytime and during the nighttime, and how if you light a fire, they appear. And it's somewhat eerie verses, allow students to interpret this poem with their imaginations, and they'll be guided by the really beautiful and artistic illustrations. Thanks for watching.